Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for tuning in. Today we are going to talk about blind buying and sampling as best practice. So because there are just so many options on the market, there's like a plethora of fragrances that you can go and get yourself, and it's all so confusing. There's eau de toilettes, there's eau de parfums, there's extraits. Which one do I choose? Which one is right for me? This is where sampling becomes really an art, and you get to be selective about what it is that you want from a fragrance and how it should smell on you. I think the best way to experience a fragrance is on the skin. Okay, I think when you're going to a department store and you are flustering through a plethora of strips, it can be a little bit confusing because yeah, sure, they smell really great on paper, but what about the chemistry of your skin? Does the scent translate on your skin as well? And is it something that you're actually going to like on a long term? Because you'd be surprised. The top notes of a fragrance are first impressions, and although they can smell really great at first, they are fleeting, and what's left underneath is what you're actually going to end up smelling like for the majority of the day. So yeah, longevity is really important to keep in mind. And when you're going through your day and you have a fragrance on, how is it projecting? Are people leaning in close to you to get a sniff of your fragrance? Or are you kind of, standing out and letting the fragrance speak for itself? If you can stand in a room and basically people can smell you from 10 feet away, then I would say that's pretty good projection. So I think these are things to consider when you are first sampling your perfumes and what it is that's actually working for you. I say test them over time, because yeah, first impressions are usually very fleeting, and you want to make sure that you are happy with the product and you're going to actually use every drop of that perfume. Another thing to consider too when you are sampling is comparison. So like comparing what you already have in your collection to the sample, so that you don't necessarily add something that is maybe similar. And so I find this technique is really helpful for me when I'm personally buying my own fragrances, because it lets me make a decision. It helps me make a decision in terms of what I already have. Will it add to my collection, or is it basically adding redundancy? So yeah, I am very picky with fragrances. I have to think like a million years before I actually purchase a bottle, let alone like a really big bottle, like a 3.4. That's a commitment for me. So I would always err on the side of caution, and like before you get your wallet and like spend all this money, try to think about what it is that you really want from a fragrance, because there's so much out there, and it's all, marketing is made to sound really great, and it's may sound really good on paper, and there's so many great reviews, but at the end of the day, I can't stress this enough, like fragrance is such a personal experience. Like just because it smells good on someone else, it doesn't mean it's going to smell good on you. And so like I think that's really important to consider when you are purchasing, something like a fragrance, something that is going to be around you basically the majority of your time, around others. It's an important decision. The other thing too that I think is really important to consider when you're at the sampling stage of your process and selecting a new fragrance is seeing how that sample layers with your other scents. So what I mean is like, you have to strategically think about how this fragrance is going to add to your collection. You have to think about like, am I pairing this with an alcohol base? Am I pairing this with a perfume oil? How is this, going to lend me the kind of aura I want to give off? I think perfumes, like 100% of the time, we're trying to exude this aura of like luxury and like, this is me, this is my presence. And so when you're sampling a fragrance and you are thinking of like, I want to layer this with a Lattafa that I already own. Okay, well, great. Like let's see how that wears throughout the day. Like, because layering is so complex, we don't often give it the time it needs to really enjoy it and like make a decision about it. So that's what I mean. Like, when you're on the market and you're looking for a new fragrance, please sample first. Don't blind buy. Even though I know it's really tempting and there's so many good options out there, you deserve to take the time and to really slow down, like slow your roll, and take into consideration like what it is that you're looking for. Like, the beauty of sampling a fragrance versus like fully committing to one like straight off the bat, unless you know it's something that you've tried in the department store and you're ready and you're willing to commit, and you've tried it over a few times during different hours of the day, because actually like hours of the day matter, and whether you're inside or outdoors matters as well. So like certain molecular structures will release their chemical components in indoor versus outdoor weather. So like, let's say you're outside and it's humid, right? Like I'm from Florida, so like I'm used to humidity, and whenever I would go outside, I would notice like I would get a whiff of like a fruity note. Like all of a sudden it was like hydration. It was like a jolted, like revitalized sense of like this lemon note from like the top note. It was all like resurfacing. And so like that is really interesting. Like, you have to consider where it is that you live. I now live in California and it is very dry here, so I get to my base notes really quickly. So if I don't like what's in the base, like I'm not gonna purchase it. So yeah, so I think like when you're sampling, definitely take that into consideration. Experiment with it, like have fun, you know, and enjoy it. This, you know, it's a fun process, and I think like you explore so much about yourself and what you actually like more than anything. And I think it's a like process of elimination too. Like, let's say, you know, you're looking at a new house, like you're looking at, take Zoologist or Sublym if you're looking at me, and you're saying like, yeah, you know, this one and this one and this one sounds good. Like, get all 3 samples. Like, that's the time when you should be. Like, you should get as many samples in the preliminary rounds and then play with them for a month. Like, give yourself like a month's time and say, okay, 1 week I'm gonna wear this one, the next week I'll wear the other one, and then the next week I'll wear this one, and then I'll jot down my final notes at the last week. Because like that, you're kind of reflecting and you're making more of a strategic decision, and you're being really mindful about what it is that you want and what you're going to, at the end of the day, really enjoy. And I think like a purchase that is as special as a fragrance, like it's really a special opportunity to reflect and to take the time that you need to take care of yourself. The other thing that's really cool about samples is that you can always take them with you on the go. So they are TSA friendly, you know, and they are a great way to pre-commit to a fragrance rather than like banking out, you know, $200, $100, whatever it may be, to a full-size bottle that you may not actually like. You know, that in and of itself is wasteful consumerism, I think. Like, if you have a fragrance that, you know, you're not really particular towards, or you're not leaning towards, and it's just sitting there and you kind of want to get rid of it, and every time you see it you think about, oh my god, like I made this really silly decision, you know, that's where sampling can kind of really help you out. Like, I think like before, you know, you want to maybe commit to like a really big bottle, sampling, you know, is a great way to get acquainted with a scent and like the way a house really, you know, sits with you, because every house has their own accord. Okay, they make their own kind of signature je ne sais quoi formulation in their process that when you smell it, you're immediately like, oh my god, that is so Burberry, or that is so Hermes, or that is so Dior. Like, it's intrinsic. It is so recognizable. Like, I can smell something and I'll immediately know, okay, that's Burberry Goddess, or okay, you know, that's Miss Dior. Like, I 10 out of 10 times can just sniff something out based on the house's accord. Libre is also a really great example. Like Libre is unmistakable. It's that syrupy orange blossom kind of note, very flashy and like kind of go-getter. So yeah, there's like really cool things to be aware of and to notice, and I think sampling is a much needed process. Like I think sampling is like the eyes, like they say, like the eyes are like the window to the soul. Like, okay, I think sampling is like the window to a perfume. Like essentially, like you have to really think about that and like really get to know a fragrance over time, because like you want to see also how it blends with your clothing, with your bedding, like how does it wear throughout the day, how does it wear when you're at the gym, you know, what does it smell like after you just got out of the shower and did your whole like moisturizing routine. So yeah, I think like it's important, and I think it's something to consider for sure. If you like this video content, go ahead and hit subscribe and give it a thumbs up and follow me on all the things. I'll see you back here soon.